All right, all right. Hey, everybody. It's been a minute, but we are here and we are welcoming you to another installment of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show, where we seek to move the culture forward with all things money and finance related so that you can take control of your finances, making sure that you have the resources and the tools and the strategies that you need to propel yourself to another level of your financial world. I am your host, Letha Thornton, and believe it or not, we are coming up on a year of doing this podcast where myself and the good folks at CMP Radio have found it crucial for the community to hear about money so that we can close the wealth gap, do better with creating generational wealth. And we've had so many different people to come on the show and share wisdom, knowledge, their expertise, and all of those things so that you can get on track. So I always say it, but I'll say it again. Let's make sure that we take advantage of the resources that we have available to us so that we can, my hashtag for the next few weeks will be do more in 2024, right? What were your goals? Did you have any financial goals? Did you achieve those goals? Everybody makes resolutions. What is it that you're going to get done in the new year, right? Not just with the weight loss and all the different things that people say they're going to do, but a lot of times people make financial goals. So the next couple of weeks we're really going to be diving into the things that we can get done, and goals that are measurable so that we can create financial success for ourselves. So I'm very, very excited to be with you today. It's solo today. There are no guests, because I'm just going to be doing a quick hit of talking to you about some food for thought when it comes to your money and finances. So I was reading an article and I find it to be so fitting for the resolutions and the goals and things that people set in the new year. We have some habits we want to create, we have some habits that we want to break. And so money and finance is no different, right? Maybe it's I'm going to cut back on, the amount of money that I spend eating out. Maybe I'm going to cancel some of these subscriptions. We had a guest a couple of weeks ago that was talking about some of the things that we could do to not go into debt for the holiday season, right? The holiday season then carries us into another level of trying to dig ourselves out of a hole. So I was reading this article. I'm going to share some things with you. And I thought it was kind of cool. Today is December 12th. They do like the 12 days of Christmas, but there are 12 tips when it comes to taking control of our finances, some do's and don'ts. And Warren Buffett is a financial guru and one of the most successful investors in the world, right? And he has a reputation for his simple yet profound financial wisdom, right? So he had 12 things that we can do to put ourselves in a better financial situation. So it says by living frugally, right? By addressing these common financial pitfalls, we can all make more informed financial decisions to ensure our money serves us well, right? It is no point in going to work and not having our money work for us, right? But we have to break some of these things that cause us to somewhat be behind our financial eight ball, if you will, because sometimes we're not even aware that these are things that are holding us back. Sometimes we are, and we just struggle to break some of these habits. But I wanted to share a few things with you. And the first thing he said, was neglecting personal development, right? So, according to Buffett, the best investment one can make is in oneself. Enhancing skills and education can boost earning potential significantly. Knowledge and abilities are assets that no one can take away from you, right? So, personal development, it could be this podcast, Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. It could be that. It could be other podcasts that help you to have a better mindset therapeutically. It could be reading books. It could be listening to audiobooks. It could be some of anything, so that you can make some personal changes and develop yourself when it comes to your mindset. So this is a book that I'm reading right now. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big, right? Acquire the secrets of success, achieve everything you've always wanted. Personal property, financial security, power and influence, the ideal job, satisfying relationships, a rewarding and enjoyable life by David Schwartz, PhD, right? So I'll show it to you again. This might be something that you want to read if you are someone who struggles with thinking big, right? I think that's people often say, well, what is it that you're reading, or what are some helpful books that I can read? We got to think bigger, right? Sometimes we live in the right now and we can't see where we're going or how we're going to get there. But we definitely need to start thinking bigger and knowing that we can achieve certain goals. And I always say financial goals because that's one of the biggest things that I'm working on in my own personal life. A lot of the times when we're having these shows and things, I'm speaking to you from experience, things that I've either gone through or currently going through, or just the steps that I may have taken. So I have guests on here a lot of the times that share knowledge of their experiences or things that they've done as well, or what they want to get done. I think it's important to understand that none of us are where we want to be financially, but we are all on a journey to get there, right? So self improvement, self development, when you're neglecting that, you can't be your best self. I don't know about you, if you're on social media, a lot of the times you're not necessarily self-developing. Sometimes you are, because I've come across some really awesome things. But what is it that we're putting in our mind every day? What is it that we're watching? What is it that we're feeding ourselves? And we have to ask, is it helping us to develop, right? Is it helping us to get better? Is it helping us to improve the things that we want to work on, right? So I use finances, but it could be about anything. Number two, relying on credit cards, right? For those who are going to charge a lot of the gifts that they are going to be giving this holiday season. Buffett says credit cards can be convenient, right? But high interest rates can quickly overshadow any benefits if you don't pay the full balance monthly. Buffett advises against needless spending that could lead to credit card debt. I had the person on my show a couple weeks ago, and that's what we were talking about, right? Debt standing for don't even buy that, right? We go into debt for one day or 2 days of gift giving, and I don't knock it because that's what the culture has become. But a lot of the times when it has the nerve to tell you how long, if you just make the minimum payment on your statement, how long it'll take you to pay off your credit card debt, right? So a lot of the times we spend the money for one day, but it takes us a year, 2 years, or whatever the case may be to pay it off, because maybe we got a few cards and we're just paying the minimum balance on all of them, right? So, yes, it's keeping our score the way we would like and maybe even boosting our score. But when we talk about interest rates, I've had people on the show talking about how interest works for and against you. A lot of the times, the interest rates that they're charging on these credit cards are astronomical. I've seen 29.999%, not including late fees, right? All of that stuff really adds up and can lead to financial ruin, right? Where you find you can't get anything, right? Because the credit is holding you back. A lot of the times people are now using afterpay. I think I've seen Affirm, I've seen Klarna, I've seen things like that because they're understanding of the fact that money is tight, but they still want you to spend. So I'm just saying be mindful of what it is that you do. Set limits for yourself, right? If you got $1,000 credit card limit, maybe don't put anything on there that you can't turn around and pay off the next month, because that interest, it accrues daily, right? When you buy a car or a home, that interest is fixed. So you already know what you're going to be paying in interest when you purchase that house. But credit card debt accrues daily. It's revolving debt. So every day it's growing interest, right? It works great for the credit card company, but not so great for you. So Buffett says relying on credit cards is probably not the best way to go. This is a big one, right? Especially with the holiday season and New Year's Eve and all of this stuff coming up. Frequenting bars and pubs. Spending on social activities like drinking at bars can really add up. Opting for more affordable social gatherings like home get togethers can help save significantly. How many times have we seen people who get to the bar and say, next round's on me? And may be treating 5 or 6 people, and the tab runs up really high. You got to tip the bartender, right? Those are things that you wake up the next morning and say, oh my God, what did I do? How many rounds did I buy? I know what I went in there with, but this is what I came home with. If I came home with anything, it can really get costly. And we all know that bars and pubs, they're already overcharging for drinks, right? So they mark the price up. You could have bought 3 or 4 bottles with the amount that you end up spending on the food and the alcohol and things like that. Um, Family get-togethers, right? Where you go out, you buy what it is that you want to buy as far as your food and drink. You can manage it a lot better because when it's gone, right? It's not going to be have another round on me. When that alcohol or that food is gone, it's gone, right? So you have a lot more control and you can save money significantly. Not to mention, you can probably ask those friends and family to bring food and drink as well so that you don't shoulder all of the financial responsibility yourself. Number three. Actually, this is not number three. This is one, two, three. Number four. Chasing the latest technology. Oh my goodness. That is a big one. New gadgets, Buffett says, may be tempting, but often last year's model or even a few years back model serves just as well. Buffett himself has a history of sticking to functional rather than flashy technology. It works, right? It's important to assess if the latest upgrades genuinely provide added value for the price. I look at iPhones, I look at all the video gaming systems. I look at all the gadgets, right? The first generation versus another generation iPad, like all of those things. Does it work? I am not one that goes and gets a new phone every year when just because I'm eligible for one. I am the one that says, okay, this one's not really working, it's slowing down too much, or I'm having glitches, or it's not really operating the way that I want. Those are the reasons I go get a new phone. Not because I'm trying to keep up with the latest, not because I'm concerned about the camera quality and all of those things that we often we never finish paying for a phone because we're getting the next one and the next one and the next one. It's the same with the game systems, right? Do I have to have the latest game systems? Do I have to have the latest technology, the newest TV, the newest, all that technology? The prices definitely are higher now with inflation and things like that. So you're ending up spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars, phones costing 800, $1,100. And if I showed you what that could do in an investment, right? If I pulled up what compound interest looks like and showed you it, the for the monthly payments that you're making on these phones and technology, what it would do in an investment, it would blow your socks off, right? So chasing the latest technology may not be the best way. Even when it comes to, computers, everything that we like to have the newest of, the bells and whistles, all the fancy features and all that stuff. He says functional over flashy. I love that. Functional over flashy. Next one. It's a big one. My goodness, is a big one. Overspending on clothing, shoes, whatever the case may be. Buffett, along with other billionaires, and I've posted about this so many times, leans towards simplicity in his wardrobe, choosing classic, durable clothes over that F word again, over flashy, expensive brands can result in significant savings, right? You've seen that picture. Excuse me. You've seen that picture on social media where it has the rich guy on the right and the poor guy on the left, but the poor guy has on all the flashy clothes, and they show the dollar amounts of all these clothes and watches and shoes and hats and shirts and all of these things with the logos and all of those things. A lot of the time, um the poor or poverty mindset says that we have to wear our wealth, right? And I know that this is a touchy subject. I totally get it. It's a touchy subject. But wearing our wealth instead of having net worth, right? Instead of having a portfolio or having some way that our money is working for us versus us working for our money, right? The keeping up with the Joneses. And I really feel like social media plays a really really big part in this, where I've even seen videos where it's like, break down how much your fit costs, how much does your outfit cost. So these celebrities who can afford to do these things are saying, oh, this watch costs this, or this shirt costs this, and they're wearing a $6,000 and $7,000 outfit, right? That's expensive. And we often don't separate the celebrity status from what our personal pockets look like. And we're wearing our wealth, we're spending money that we could be doing something else with on clothing instead of trying to grow money. It is a shackle on our communities a lot of the times, because we don't necessarily have the resources to do this. So we put on this facade, or we live a life that's not real because we want to look good. But meanwhile, the guy on the right, the person that is wealthy or rich, as it says on the picture, he might buy a nice suit and a nice shirt, maybe some nice shoes, but it still ends up costing less than it would cost for the whole outfit of designer clothes and things like that we're wearing, right? The wealthy people want to know, what kind of assets do you have, right? Do you own real estate? Imagine what you could do if you were wearing a $3,000 or $4,000 outfit, and that's a down payment on a house or a piece of property or something like that, right? So, we just have to be a little bit more mindful. And, I want to talk about these things because it's something that continues to plague our communities. And I, like I said, social media plays a very big part, wanting you to look extravagant and not be in touch with reality that bills are still due and things that we need to get done financially, there's a struggle. So, the next one, buying new cars. Buying new cars. The price of cars these days, right? They're saying that the average car payment is easily between $600 and $800, right? Because of inflation, because the cost of these vehicles, like everything else, is rising. Buffett says cars are notorious for their rapid depreciation. They say that your vehicle that you buy depreciates as soon as you drive it off the lot. It loses its some of its value. Buffett recommends buying pre-owned cars and holding on to them for as long as they're reliable instead of falling, for the allure of the newer models. It's the same thing with the cell phones, right? We want all the bells and whistles and all the features and all of those things, but does it run? Does it get me where I need it to get me? I don't necessarily have to have the newest, that again, wearing or driving our wealth. I think that there's nothing wrong with having a financial status. Okay, cool. But a lot of the times, if the car drives just as good as the newer model, you save yourself some money by buying a pre-owned vehicle and, doing some other things with the money that you spend on that high car payment. So buying a pre-owned vehicle, and not falling for the allure of the newer models is a big deal. Now, leasing a car, that's a little different. I know people that end up getting a new car every couple of years. They are going to feel the pinch of the price as well, but it's just a little bit different than the financing that goes on with car payments and things like that. So the next one, this is a big one when people going into the new year, right? How many of us have how many of us have gotten these gym memberships, right? Because that blasted, I am going to lose 20 pounds come hell or high water. And I have this is my weight loss goal. Unused gym memberships, right? They say January, maybe even February, people will go hard at going to the gym. Around the 30th day to the 45th day, they start to fall off, right? So Buffett says, um, he promotes an active lifestyle, of course, but cautions against unused gym memberships. Free or low cost fitness routines can be just as effective if regularly practiced, right? So maybe you're not spending $90 on that monthly gym membership. And, as you start to, dwindle away from getting to the gym, you are losing money. A lot of the times, those kind of memberships have you in some kind of contract. So whether you go or not, you're still spending this money. I knew a person, he was spending $75 a month on going to the gym, and he hadn't been in I don't know how long, but he was in a contract. So maybe if you're going to go to the gym and you find that you're somebody who, goes sometimes doesn't, getting yourself a cheap gym membership, preferably one that doesn't have any contracts, right? Because if you decide to stop going, you're not having a recurring charge where they're charging you 80, $90 for a gym membership and for stuff that you don't even go to, right? So I think that that's a big one going into the new year. We can find a way. Every little bit helps when it comes to saving money. I've done YouTube things. Shout out to one of my favorite workouts, Trap Cardio. If you haven't looked at it, look at it. It's such a great workout program. You sweat, you dance, you get to let your inner ratchet out for about a good hour, right? And there are people of all different sizes, so there's no pressure. Sometimes we stop going to the gym because there's people around us that might look better than us physically, so we lose motivation. But my Track Cardio is people of all different sizes and shapes. And their membership is really, really cheap. They started out free, so there are a lot of videos that you can get on there for free, and it's like that with all any subscriptions. It started out free. There's a whole lot of videos on there that you can watch. And then there is a paid membership. It's still dirt cheap. I believe it's $15 or less a month, but they have multiple workouts during the week, and you can really lose some weight. I was doing that, and intermittent fasting, and I lost like 30-40 pounds one time. So be mindful of those gym memberships, right? Next one, and I've heard people say this so many times, so many times, that I didn't realize I had Netflix, I had Hulu, I had Disney Plus, I had all of these subscriptions, right? Because I wanted to watch this, so I got the Stars subscription. I wanted to do this, so I got Hulu. Here's what Buffett says about subscription services: if not carefully monitored, they can become a financial drain. Review these regularly and cancel those that don't provide value. He's not saying don't have them, but be mindful of what you have. If you find that you're not really watching a certain subscription that often, then, like he says, review it monthly. It's worth it to do, because just like all the other rising prices, things have really gone up, right? So people constantly complain about how much Netflix has gone up from the time they got it till now, right? They keep going up. They trying to stop you from sharing your subscriptions and all of that stuff with friends and family and things like that. So we probably should take a look at those things. Okay, I got the Stars membership for or subscription because I was watching this show, and now I'm not watching this show. So, you don't necessarily pay attention to it, but if you take a look and say, well, where the heck did my money go? A lot of the times it's on subscriptions, right? I'm in the process right now of getting reducing my cable bill, right? Because I realized that the cable prices are rising, and I really want to do something else with that money. So I'm doing high speed internet and Wi-Fi so that I can stream. And then if I want to have a Hulu or a Netflix and all of that, I can stream my services. I feel like it's taken me so long to get there, because sometimes technology gets on my nerves. Not sure if that's your situation, but sometimes technology gets on my nerves. So I didn't feel like taking on what it would take to get those things done. But I want to cut back prices. I have some financial goals and things that I want to get done, and some of these things don't provide value in my life. Next one. Over reliance on skincare products. Buffett advises against overusing or needlessly combining skincare products and regimens. Finding a simple and effective routine can save both money and your skin, right? You look at the commercials, they're always telling you need this product or you need that product, or this exfoliates, this does that, you know those products. And this happens with hair for me. I don't know if this happens for you, but with hair products, I have they showed on TV where it's like a hair care grave site. All the products that I've tried, that I've spent money, that I've ordered on an infomercial, I've bought from the hair store, didn't quite like it. If you add that stuff up, it really can take a chunk out of your budget. So it's the same with the skincare products. Being mindful of what it is that you're doing and what you're spending on these skincare products. Are they really working? And if they are working, what is a way that I can still make these things affordable, and maybe do away with some of the other things that may not work as well, or you find yourself not using as often. So skincare products. Next one, regular nights out, right? We see it all the time on social media. We out here in these streets, right? Buffer says, while socializing is essential, right? Because we've gotten caught up in this metaverse where, we could really be on our phones all day and neglect what it takes to socialize. I found myself being guilty of that after COVID. Socializing is essential. Frequent nights out can be a significant expense. Opting for a budget friendly alternative like home cooked meals and movie nights can cut costs considerably. I was somebody that always was on the go, right? And by the time I get home, the ordering out, I found that I could easily spend, between $100 and $200 in a 7-day period on ordering out. I have a family of 5. So ordering out can be costly, especially now. I don't know if y'all pay attention to DoorDash and um all those other delivery food apps, but the service fees on that are just astronomical. So the food it may be reasonably priced, but by the time the delivery fees and the tip and all of that stuff comes up, you're spending a lot just to have the convenience of the food being brought to you, right? Movie nights, right? You can Netflix and chill. Maybe you don't have to go out and be spending money. A lot of the times, let's face it, when we're out and about, we are compelled to spend money in some way, shape, or form, because being out in the world costs, right? So home cooked meals instead of ordering out, movie nights, game nights, different things, like I said, where you can have people bring things to you versus, bring something with you, bring something to drink, bring, whatever the case may be. It helps you to cut back on costs. As y'all can see, my dog. It helps you to cut back on costs, and it's an environment where you still can have a good time, socialize with friends and family, but not spend as much money. It's a big one, big one, big one, big one, especially right about now where sports and things are going on. Gambling. While gambling might seem like a shortcut to wealth, because we've seen some people come up, let's keep it real. Buffer emphasizes the importance of understanding the odds. He urges people to make financial decisions that favor long term wealth accumulation, not momentary thrills, right? So if you've been to the casino, I am often really, really amazed at how many different ways they get you to engage in gambling. It is all over the TV, it is all over the radio, it is all over our phones. You watch a YouTube video where they have a commercial that you got to watch. It is there. It is everywhere. I don't know if you've been going to certain gas stations and stores in the hood, but they got slot machines and all of those. I've seen slot machines at the gas station. I've seen slot machines in places that you wouldn't expect. I went to Vegas. They got slot machines before you even leave the airport, right? So you can be broke before you even made it to your hotel. They find a way to entice us with gambling. But then they have the nerve to say, gambling problem, call 1-800, whatever the number is. But they are finding a way to get us to gamble. And yes, I've seen a lot of people come up. I've seen a gentleman um, win money and start a business. If you're going to do that, great. But oftentimes that's not the case. So Buffer says, pay attention to the odds, right? You might have a quick monetary gain, but sometimes when you take a look at all that you've lost to hit that monetary gain, it balances out, right? I've seen people say, I hit the number, but they've spent $500 over a period of time buying lottery tickets, right? So it's not serving you well, and a lot of the times it's putting a hole in your pocket. So the last one, I believe that was 12. Mm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. So I had to count because this article is pretty juicy, actually. Smoking, right? Smoking, beyond its health implications, is a costly habit. Quitting can lead to a significant boost in your personal budget, right? I was looking at online, as I was, kind of doing some research and looking around for things for the show. The average pack of cigarettes is no less than $9. The generic, right? We're not even talking about the popular brands that people like to smoke. But if you are someone who smokes a pack a day and say cigarettes are $10, that's $70 a week, right? That's a lot of money, right? That's almost $300 a month. And that's if you're a pack a dayer. I know some two pack a dayer people, right? Smoking, on top of all the chemicals and things that they put in it, um, to keep you wanting to keep buying them. They call them, I had a gentleman, he called them fiending chemicals. They want to keep you buying cigarettes. Those things really, really add up. And when I was doing social work, those were the first things that I spoke with the folks I was working with. Because if you're on a fixed income and we have to help you with a budget, how can we cut back? I'm not saying stop smoking altogether, but how can we cut back on the cost of cigarettes, right? They have so many different situations where you can buy them, Lucy's, all of those different things, um because they understand that the habit is strong, and that a lot of the times we're going to sacrifice the things that um we want to save money on because we have this particular habit. The same thing can be said about alcohol and other things that people, vivations as they call them. Those things really have a way of adding up. So we want to empower and encourage you. And I'll do like a little bit of just a recap on the things that I just mentioned to you. But I definitely, for one, I want to see your health improve. So a habit that people often want to break in the new year is smoking. So I encourage you to sit down and do the math, right? What is it that I'm spending? And then, check out, go on Google and look at, the rule of 72, that talks about compound interest. And the money that you are spending on these things that Buffett's saying you should cut back on, see what they look like with with over time when it comes to interest. Rule of 72 says if you divide your interest rate, the place you park your money, the percentage of it, if you divide it into 72, it'll tell you how many years it takes your money to double. You can start seeing your money pile up, right? And start investing some of the money that you're spending on things that don't necessarily create wealth for you. And that's what this show is all about. So, neglecting personal development, relying on credit cards, frequenting bars and pubs, chasing the latest technology, buying new cars instead of pre owned, unused gym memberships, unnecessary subscription services, over reliance on skincare products, regular nights out, gambling, and smoking. Right? It's the same thing with I tracked one time how much I was spending getting Dunkin' Donuts coffee every day, right? It added up so much that when I slowed down on buying it, I was able to buy like furniture pieces for my home with the money that I was spending on Dunkin' Donuts coffee in a 30-day period. So I encourage you to sit down, make a budget for yourself, have an entertainment budget, right? So that you can still have fun, but when you have exceeded your entertainment budget, that's it, right? we're going to go out, we're going to do things. I like to go to networking events. I budget for that because I know that it's going to cost a certain amount. Just sit down, and I encourage and empower you to make a budget, stick to it, take a look at these subscriptions and all the little things. It doesn't necessarily have to be big gigantic things, but all the little things that you're spending your money on, so that you can course correct. Do I really need this? Or is this just something that I have just to say I have it? Right? Especially clothes. Especially clothes and shoes, and all the other things that we like to buy. Are these things that I really have to buy? I had a problem at one point, with infomercials. Right, I love certain things on infomercials, and next thing I know, my impulse shopping, I would be buying stuff on QVC. I would be buying things that I didn't necessarily need. So a question that I had to start asking myself is, do I really need this, or do I just want it? And then if I said, well, I really want it and I need it, I would say take a 24-hour cool off period. And if you come back and you still want it in 24 hours, then go ahead and buy it. These are just some of the little things that I found myself doing to save money. And like I say before, we may not be where we want to be, because sometimes we fall short, or sometimes we say, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself. I really want this. I don't knock that, but at some point, if you got these financial goals that you want to try to achieve, you're gonna have to do an autopsy of what your money's doing, what that budget looks like. So that's the Warren Buffett um secrets to being frugal, right? But most importantly, just being practical, right? We don't necessarily have to be super frugal, but we just need to be practical with the things that we do. I'm talking to you like I'm talking to me. There's some things that I gotta put on pause, some things that I really want, that I say, you know what, I'm gonna hold off on these things, because I really want to get these things done. It does take discipline, but the same way that you build muscles at the gym, these are the muscles that you have to build up when it comes to achieving your financial goals. And oftentimes we say, oh, 2024 is going to be our year, but there's some habits that we take into the new year that often stop us from getting to achieve those goals. I would strongly suggest that you continue to tune into Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show, because we're going to continue to break these types of things down. We're going to continue to empower you. We're going to continue to talk about topics that may not be, as juicy as some of the things that we see on social media, but relevant topics, things that we really, really need to discuss and make changes with, right? I can't say it enough that I want to see us all on our financial journey excelling and advancing. I want to see us buying more property. I want to see us renting our properties out. I want to see us creating passive income, multiple streams of income. I want to see us, creating generational wealth for our children. All the things that maybe our parents and grandparents didn't have their hands on, but now we're starting to get our hands on it. We're starting to wake up. We're starting to see that there are other ways. That's really what this show is about, right? It's a major key in creating financial independence. I kind of got to do a pullover and park. I've seen so many people talking about irrelevant things, but they don't have a financial game plan. They don't have a coach. They don't have life insurance. They don't have investments. They don't have any of the things that are long term, right? Um, the Eagles losing to the Cowboys was something temporary, right? But it's getting more buzz and more talk than than creating wealth, creating estates and things like that. And it may not be the sexiest thing to talk about, right? But it becomes sexy when you know that you're creating an estate, leaving a legacy, and most importantly, teaching your children and your grandchildren how to not make the same financial missteps that you've made. So we will continue to empower and put on meaningful programming. This other little commercial break that I'm going to make, if you have a show idea that is centered around money and finances that you want to talk about, that you find isn't being talked about enough, please send your show ideas. We do have a Facebook group on called Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. Please feel free to join the group so you can stay abreast of what's going on with current shows, past shows. I have sent so many videos out to people who have questions about certain topics, and I know I've had a show guest on. I'll send them the show that I had a guest on so that they can get free resources. It's another thing. Paying for resources when things are free, right? Going and paying people to do a financial plan for you when these things are free. If you just tune in, you'll be able to latch on to that. So if you have a show idea that you would like to see talked about, feel free to let me know. I'm always open for content and ideas. Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show is also looking for sponsors. So we are a local station. We are a local show. We would love to have the sponsorships of restaurants, car dealerships, whatever the case may be. We are looking for sponsors in 2024. So if you know anybody who might value the things that we talk about and they own a business, please send them my way because we are looking to have people to sponsor the show. So that we can continue to bring meaningful programming to you at no cost, right? So that's my commercial time. I want to thank you for tuning in to Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. I'll be completely honest with you. Coming up on a year, I never thought that I would be doing this. I never thought that I would be in this place to be sharing these types of topics with you. I'm just somebody that's kind of been um, a crusader for wanting to help people, first in social work and then in finances. I've always had a strong desire to see people advance in both areas. Our mental health and things are very, very important, but our financial health is just as important. So I never thought I would see myself in this position. You never know where your journey is going to take you. And I want to have continued success with what it is that I'm doing because I'm getting great feedback of people saying these are things that we really, really need to be discussing. Thank you so much for doing this. So lastly, share this video, right? We don't I often don't ask people to share the videos, but if you're watching this, please share this, right? If you're in groups or you could send it in a text, please share this video because it helps people along their financial journey, people that I don't know. You might know somebody who wants to purchase a home. You might know somebody who wants to get their finances on track but doesn't know where to begin. You might know somebody who wants to learn how to obtain business credit or clean up their personal credit or need help with their taxes. Please share this content with as many people as possible as we seek to move the culture forward. That is my time. I really intended to just be on here for a half an hour with you, but the topics and the different things that we were talking about um, are things that I could probably talk about all day. So we are going to bid you a great evening, and I hope that you will continue to tune in. We'll be having some money mindset things going on into the new year so that you can do more in 2024. that is my time. I'm Letha Thornton, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
CMPRadio.net, it's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania.